Hi guys, good evening. Tomorrow is Chinese Dragon Boat Festival, so we don't have a live class tomorrow. Instead, I shot this video and it's about the guidance for your final project. So I will give you a simple uh, procedure to make this final project only in basic functions. Okay, first let's look at this requirement for our final project, the basic function. Our final project is to make a Pomodoro timer and including the basic functions and the advanced functions. And the basic functions, we have these requirements. The first, we should implement a Pomodoro timer. That Pomodoro timer is a timer, but when we use it, the time displayed on the timer will go down. And for example, our default Pomodoro timer is 25 minutes. So in our interface, we should display the default timer. That is 25 minutes and 0 second. This is the default timer, and we are required to design three buttons in the interface. That is start. That is start button, and this is pause. And the third button is reset. So we have three buttons below the time. So the default time is 25 minutes, 0 second. When we hit the start button, the Pomodoro timer will get started. The get started means that default time is 25 minutes. Then the next second, it should be go down. It should be 24 minutes, and the second is 59 seconds. And a second later, and the timer change to 24 minutes, 58 seconds, and go down, follow this direction till it get to 0. When it get to 0, 0 minute, 0 second, that time's up. When it time's up, we should pop out a message dialog box should tell you that the timer is up. So that is the Pomodoro timer. We have 25 minutes time for the timer, the default 25 minutes. And we have the pause button. When we hit the pause button, for example, now the Pomodoro timer is working. But when it comes to 23 minutes, at this time, we hit the pause button. So the Pomodoro timer will pause. And the time display on the timer will stay on the 23 minutes. It will not to go down, continue to down. No, it don't work because it paused. And when we hit start again, so the timer will continue to work. So it's continued to 23 minutes. So it's 22 minutes and 59 seconds, 22 minutes, 58 seconds. Let's go down till it gets to 0. That is the pause button. And there's a reset button. And reset button, we hit it at any time. For example, now it's the time shoe on this timer is 11. For example, 11 minutes 0 second. At this time, we hit the reset button. When we hit the reset button, and the timer now it shows on the timer. The time is 11 minutes 0 second. Then the time will get back to 25 minutes 0 second. That is reset. Hit the reset button will bring the time back to the default time. that we preset, that is 25 minutes, 0 second. That is the reset button. So we have three buttons: start, the first one, the second pause button, and the third is reset button. That is the functions for the Pomodoro timer. So that is the basic function for our final project. The next step, how to implement this Pomodoro timer, use Java, because we are required to make a desktop application. So this desktop application, we have a GUI application. It's a GUI interface. So we will use the knowledge we have learned in our course. That is a swing. That is about the GUI application. So we will use NetBeans to make the whole project. I will show you how to do it. Remember, I will only give you a simple procedure to make the basic functions for the Pomodoro timer. That is only for guidance, and you can make your own Pomodoro timer based on my simple procedure. So let's get it started. First, we will start our NetBeans. Now we are in NetBeans. I will start a new project. So I will start a new project. And now we are in the dialog box, a new project, hit next. And I will, for example, keep it as a Java application. I will rename it as Pomodoro timer, for example. Sample. That is project name. And don't check the create mem class. I'll create my own class with. So hit finish button, and now we have an empty folder, Pomodoro timer sample, and then we will create a frame, a window for the whole Pomodoro timer. So new, we select the JFrame form. Remember, we have to get a window for our Pomodoro timer, so we select the type for our class is JFrame form. That is a container, that is window for our desktop application. So select JFrame form, and then I give name. That is gives name as Pomodoro timer, for example. That's my Pomodoro timer. I should make it as a little I. Yes, Pomodoro timer, and hit finish. Now the NetBeans will automatically load this tool for us. That is a design tool to design our GUI application, design the interface for our Pomodoro timer. Remember, our Pomodoro timer should have a display area to display the time for the Pomodoro timer. So how to make this display area? We should use something can show text. For example, the label, this component to show the digit for the time. Or we use the text component, for example, the text field to show the digit. Now we use a label, for example. I drag the label to this area, and that is for a minute. So I will change the text to the default minute, that is 25 minutes, and I will make a font to change it to make it a little bit bigger. So the 36 is okay. That is 25 minutes. Therefore, this label is for minute, and then I will make the separator between the minute and the second. So I drag a new label here and give it text as canon. Okay, and still I will change it the font size to 36. Okay, make it larger. That is for our separator between the minute and second. Now I leave the second to label 3 and give its default value as 00, the 00 second, and the font size keep the same. Font size, where's font size? The font, here. Font size 36. Okay, that is for the Pomodoro timer. The time we display on this timer. I will move it to the middle of the window. Okay, I will make it perfect place. At 25 minutes 0 second, that is the full time for the Pomodoro timer. And then I will put 3 buttons below the time. So I drag the button here and we'll name it as a start button. It's start. And then the next button we put here is a pause. 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 And a third button below the time, I rename it as reset. So we have 3 buttons now below the time: start, pause, and reset. But now they don't have any functions, but we have already finished the interface for our Pomodoro timer, so we can check that is our interface for our Pomodoro timer. We have the time that shows the time on this area. Below the time is 3 buttons: start, pause, and reset. Okay, so we have already get this GUI application, a GUI interface. We have this window that we can do something for our continuous steps. That now we have this interface, that's time, then button, but all these buttons don't have any functions. So the next step, I will do something for this Pomodoro timer. The first, how the Pomodoro timer works. As we know, the default time is 25 minutes, 0 second. When we get a second, it will change to 24 minutes and 59 seconds. And 1 second later, it will change to 24 minutes 58 seconds, then 57 seconds, 56 seconds. So it will go down till it gets to 0. That is the Pomodoro timer. So we should have a thread, just like we make a clock. We'll make a thread, a clock thread. In this thread, we got a 1 second interval, and use a 1 second interval, we refresh our display and get the current time. So in the Pomodoro timer, it's the same. We got 1 second interval, and each second we will decrease the time by 1. So that is 25 minutes 0 second. The next time is 24 minutes 59 seconds. Then the 24 minutes 58 seconds. So each second we will decrease the whole time by 1. That is what we should do for the Pomodoro timer. So we will create a clock thread in our program to make it 1 second interval. So we back to our source. Hit the source button, and because we will add a thread, create a new thread for our Pomodoro timer, so we should implement runnable interface. So implement the runnable interface. That is a runnable interface. Because we implement the runnable interface, the really important things is that we have to implement the run method in our P timer class, in our Pomodoro class. So I will add a run method here. So I'll paste some code here. I don't want type too many things here. So I copy the code. Yeah. I'm an easy guy. And now it's the run method. The run method is for the runnable interface. And what we should do is inside the run method, we should give 1 second interval. Just like clock application, we got 1 second interval. So how to get 1 second interval? As we know, we can use the sleep method. That is the method. Oh no, not this. Okay, copy. Just copy it. So we use this try. Inside try block, we have the thread sleep and sleep 1 second. And the question is, we have created the thread. So only have the run method, it's not enough. So we have to create the thread for our Pomodoro timer. So we should add some definition for our thread. So I will simply copy some code from here. That thread, my thread. Okay, copy it. Now, thread, my thread. It's my clock thread. And because we now have this definition for my thread, and as we know, we will create my thread here. So, where to put this new thread statement? We should put it in the constructor for our Pomodoro timer. So the Pomodoro timer, P timer, is a constructor. This constructor is implemented or automatically by that being. So we'll simply add our statements into this constructor. That's enough. So I paste this code here. That is my thread, that's my thread. The name is clock thread, and I'll make it start. So now we got a thread and make it start. And this thread, this clock thread, we will get 1 second interval. So we have the thread, but this thread do nothing. This thread do now it's only a clock thread, but we don't have any functions for this thread. So as we know, inside this thread, the run method is the task for this thread. The task, what is a task? The task is, well, now we got 1 second interval. Each second, we should decrease the time for the Pomodoro timer. So how we do this task? We get back to our slides. So how to do this? Now the default time is 25 minutes, 0 second is default time, and then the next time is 24 minutes, 59 that's 59 seconds, and then the 24 minutes, 58 seconds. But remember, because this time, so when it comes to 24 minutes 0 second, so next it should be 23 minutes 59 seconds. So based on the 60 is our unit. because we have this clock, as we know, the clock we have 60 as a unit. So how to do this? It's not just a simple uh, problem. The simple problem is we decrease, for example, we decrease 100. Each time we decrease 1. So 100. So next time 99, 98, 97, till it goes to 0. No problem. It's simple. But for the time, we should consider the 60 unit. So the 25, 0, now get to the 24, 0, and get to the 23, 0, and each turn we got this 60 second as a unit. So how to do this job? We have many different ways to do this. A simple way to do this, that is we change the time to the second. So for example, 25 minutes, 0 second, and we change it as second, that is 25 minutes times 60 and plus 0. That is the total second. The total second, 25 minutes, that is total second. So that is total second. So total seconds, so each time we decrease it, decrease the total second. So that means the next time is next interval, second interval, we only decrease 1 based on this total seconds. This total seconds. So the text time is we decrease 1 to the total seconds. And then the next again, we decrease 1. So each time we decrease 1 based on this total seconds. But the problem is, what we should display on the Pomodoro timer interface on the window is a minute and a second. So we have to convert this total seconds to the minute and second. So when we get the result, for example, the default is 25 minutes minus 60 plus 0, we got the total seconds. And then the next time, next interval, we decrease 1, we got the current total seconds. And we should convert it back to the minute and second. How to convert it? That is, we got is total seconds, and we use this to divide 60. Divide 60, so we got this 20. The next minute is should be the 24, and we use this calculation. This is the percent, as the operator is percent, the operator is a slash, the operator is the percent. We got the second, 59. So the 24 minute and 59 second. So we convert the total seconds back to the minute, the 24 minute, the second is 59 seconds. So that's a way to decrease the time for the Pomodoro timer and to show the correct time, the current time on the Pomodoro timer. We use this simple calculation to do it. There are other ways to do it, but this is a simple way to implement this. Okay, so it's really important. I will implement it, use statements inside our program. So I'll back to that beings. Now, because we will make this calculation as I mentioned before, so I have defined several variables to implement it. So I will copy some code here. That is default. That is copy and put it there. Did I miss something? No. So I'll define these variables here for this calculation. That default minute, default second is the timer. Remember our default Pomodoro timer is 25 minutes and 0 second. So the default minute is 25 seconds, default second is 0. So I will, in a constructor, I will give it a default value. The default value for it. Default value for it is 25 minute for the minute, default minute. Default second is 0 second. That is default minute, default second. And we have defined a variable limit as timer in second. That is total seconds. The total seconds comes from the minute and the second. So I will make the calculation as I mentioned before. That we use this simple calculation and we got this value for the time in second, the total second at the default minute, the 25 minute times 60 and plus the 4 second. We got this value. And then let me check that. Here I also define a timer minute and timer second. That is the current time for this Pomodoro timer, the current time for the Pomodoro timer. So I will use it during the working of this Pomodoro timer. We use a timer minute, a timer second to show the time minute, time second on the Pomodoro timer. So now we got this timer in second, that the total seconds for the timer. So next, I will decrease it in the run method. Remember run method, we got 1 second interval. So we got into the run method. Now I will make this calculation. Simply copy it. So the timer minute, we use this calculation to get timer. And we use this operator to get second. Remember the 60 is our unit, so use this calculation to get the timer minute and timer second, because we will show the time minute and timer second on our interface. So the timer minute and timer second is used for our interface, and the timer in second, the total seconds, is used for our calculation, our decreasing of the time each second. So they have different usage in our program. The timer minute, timer second for display, and timer in seconds for calculation. So time minute, timer second, now I have them. And then I will show them on our interface. So because I will show them on interface, I should know the component name in our program. Because the component, the label is automatically get its name from the NetBeans tool. So we don't know what name is, but we can get it from the navigate window. Remember, we get back to design interface. When we select, for example, select the component, we can check out its name. That name is JLabel1. And for second, the label name is JLabel3. So we know its name is JLabel1 and JLabel3 because I will use the set text to show the current time. So we should know the correct name for them. So we're back to our code. Now got the timer minute and step second. Then I'll show them on the timer. So simply we use this code. So paste on it. That is JLabel 1, it's for minute, and JLabel 3, it's for second. So I will show the current time for the minute and second. But a really important thing is each time we should decrease 1. Each interval we have a second, 1 second, because we use a sleep 1 second. So each second we should decrease the time in second, the total seconds, by 1. So we should have this operation for our total seconds. So each time, each second would decrease time in second, the total seconds, by 1. And then I will get the current time and the minute and the second and show it on our interface. So it's our Pomodoro timer. So if we finish this, and then if we now our Pomodoro timer is on on designing. I haven't finished it, but at this time I can check how it works. So if we run at this time, for example, now I haven't defined any functions for the button. We have 3 buttons. Remember, start, pause, and reset. But now this Pomodoro timer we'll check it. It run normally or not, because we want to check the run method. Because the run method will decrease the total seconds by 1 each second, and then I will show the timer on this interface. So I check it out, I run it. Okay, I run it, and I will say it that the run method, nothing happened. Why? 24, 59, that decreased by 1. Timer, second, timer, second, but we don't have it change. So it's really important. Some problem occurs that the time didn't change. So how to deal with it? That is what I want to show you. If you get some problems during you design your application, for example, just like this problem, this number didn't change. So how to get this reason? How to find what reason causes problem? And a really important tool for us is the system output line, because we can use the system output line to print out message to get some information inside our program. So because now as I run our program, and I can say what we want to get is the time should be decreased continuously from 25 minute 0 second to 24 minute 59 seconds, then get it back and get as a direction is done, but we can't get this result. So I want to find out the reason why, which reason causes problem. So I will put a system out print 9. Now I want to know the value for the timer in second. So I print it out, because this information will print out in the output window. So in the output window we'll get the current value for the time in second. So if you run the code again, now you know that it's only one number show on it, 1,499. That means they only decreased once. So what's the problem? So we should check our code. That is run method only run once when we. So it's a problem for our code. So the Pomodoro timer, this run method should run continuously. But now it only run one time. So we only get 1,499. So on the display interface, we only get the fixed time, the 24 minute, 59 seconds. So that means the run method only run once. So we want the run method to run continuously. So we should add an infinite loop for the run method. So the infinite loop, as we know, as remember, when we build a clock, remember in the chapter we talk about concurrent programming. We give example for our digital clock, and the digital clock we have a run method, and the clock is continue working. So we have infinite while loop inside the run method. So we simply to copy this infinite while loop to our program. Got it? So get back to code, and I should copy this code that make this infinite loop, this while loop. So the thread, this while loop, because now we have this one, and you should add the right brace here. So we have added an infinite loop for our run method. So this thread, current thread, and while this thread equal my thread, so we get this calculation and we display the current time. Then and this while loop, the condition always satisfied it. So this is an infinite loop. So we add it inside the infinite while loop, then it works. So we get back and we save it and run the code again and check the result. Now we check. This result is corrected. That this timer is work. It's go down the direction. Each time decreased by 1. Each second decreased by 1. And I will check it works or not, because it will show the correct minute and second. So we have the calculation. So we should wait for a while to see to check it that this minute and the second displayed correct or not. So now it's 24 minute 17. Then the next turn. So should be next minute should be 23. Should be the 23 and 59. I will check it and wait. Now, okay. Now it's correct. It's 23 minutes, 59, 58, 53, 54, 53, 52. Okay, it's correct. So that means our run method, our task works well. So the timer now it can run correctly, but we have to implement functions for our button. Remember, we have 3 buttons here. We have this start button, pause, and reset. We have add function for our Pomodoro timer, start, pause, and reset. And how to implement this button? So as we know, we we have learned this event handling model that we simply in the NetBeans design tool, we use this NetBeans design tool to help us to create the event handling framework for us. So what we only we require to do is to write our own code to handle this event, that action event for the button. So we're back to this interface, and then we will right-click the start button, and we choose the correct event type action performed. Now we got this method automatically generated for us. This is for the start button. I make a comment here, and we get back to design window and follow the same way we create the second event handling method here. That is for the pause button. And the third one, get back, reset. So event, action form, and that means help us to generate an event handling code, and it's for the reset button. Reset button. Now we have this event handling framework, 3 methods here. Now, how to add this function for them? Remember, start button, when we hit the button, our timer will work. When we hit the pause button, our timer will pause. When we hit start again, it will start again. When we hit reset button, our timer, the time will get back to the default time. Default time is 25 minutes, 0 seconds. That is functions for these 3 buttons. So we should add a flag variable, the status, for our Pomodoro timer. And this status variable was controlled by these buttons. So I will add something for our code for add the status for our Pomodoro timer. So I will define a variable named as timer status. So I copy it and add a new variable for the timer status, and I will define the value for the timer status. The timer status default value is 0 because it's instance variable, and it gets its default value when the constructor run. It gets the default value is 0, and I will define different values for the time status to indicate the current status for our Pomodoro timer. For example, I will define the Pomodoro timer. When we hit the start button, we will change the status to 1. And when we hit the pause button, I will change the time status to 2. When I hit the reset button, and the status get to 3. So I define 3 different status. That is 1 for start, and the second for pause function, and the third one, the 3 for our reset button, reset function. So I will state the different status in this. When we hit the start button, the pause button, reset button, and the event handling code, I will assign the correct status value to the status variable. The time status equal, assign 1 to it. And when we hit the pause button, I will set time status to 2 this time, and hit hit the reset button. I will make its status as 3, and now we get different status for the timer 1, 2, and 3. To control this timer. So how to control it? When this timer status is 0, that means our timer will get to work. When we hit the pause button, that our timer was paused. When we hit start again, our promo timer will continue working. When we hit the reset button, the time will get back to the default time. So I will add some code in a run method for it. So the first for this start button, and start button that is when we can decrease our time in second only when we satisfy this condition. That is, if the time status when this start button hit it, the time status now it's 1, so we can decrease the time in second, the total seconds each interval. So that's very important. So we hit the start button, we make the time status equal 1, and then our total seconds, the time in second, will be able to be decreased by 1 in each second. So that is for the start button. And then if we hit the pause button, we will do nothing for it. The do nothing for it means the total seconds, the time in second, we don't change it. So if you want to write some code for it, it's okay, but simply you can ignore these statements because we do nothing for this timer in second. When it pause, the timer in second, the total seconds, we don't change it. If we don't change it, the timer in second, the total seconds, this time show on the timer will keep unchanged. So that is pause. But if we hit the start button again, that time status now it's get to 1, and if it's 1 and the total seconds the next time, it will continue decreasing by 1 each second. So that's how it works. And the third function for the reset, if we hit a reset button, remember our time for the Pomodoro timer will get back to the default time. So when we hit when we hit the reset button, now this reset button, our total seconds will come back to default that we use the same calculation to get the default time, default seconds, total seconds, time in second. That is back to the default. So we have 3 if branches. The first one for our start function. The second one for our pause function. And the third one is for our reset button. So that's it. Now we have these functions implemented for the 3 buttons, and we still a problem we haven't deal with. That is, when these timers get to 0, we should pop out a dialog box to show the timer is up. So we should add some code for it. So we have learned something about how to pop out a dialog box. That is, well, write this code in a run method to implement it. That is, when the total second, because total second each time we will decrease the total seconds by 1, and then when it gets to 0, that means our Pomodoro timer is finished for this turn. The 5 minutes, we already have 25 minutes focus time. So the timer is finished and time is up. So it will pop out a message dialog box. We use the Java option pane, show message dialog, and show the time is up. Okay, the show time is up. And a really important thing, if the timer is up, so all of the things should get back to the initial status. The initial status, that is total seconds, should get back to default. So the timer in second, the total second get back to default. Default minute times 60 plus default second. And the timer status should get back to its initial value, that is 0. So that is for the run method. Now we have finished to add the functions to each of these buttons. Now I will check it works or not. And the default time, now we can define the default time at 25 minutes or other kind of digit as you want. So I will check it. Pomodoro timer, now I can run it. Pomodoro timer, I will check it. It is all these buttons. Now this digit, this timer keep unchanged because we haven't started. When we hit started, the status for the timer is become 0, and then in our code, the run method, the total seconds will start to be decreased by 1 at each second. So we hit start, and now each time the Pomodoro timer, the time will be decreased by 1. So if we hit the pause, remember, hit the pause and do nothing for the timer in second. Do nothing for the total seconds. So the total seconds keep unchanged. And if we hit the start again, the time status now is get back to 1, and time in second will continue to be decreased. So when we hit the started, it will continue to decrease. And if we hit the time status, make it time to 3, hit the reset. Hit the reset, that is to make it get back to default, the 25 minutes. That is for it. When we hit the start again, it will start from 25 minutes to get down and hit pause, and hit start, it continue decrease, hit pause and hit reset, it get back to 25 seconds. So it works. And I will check if these timers get down to 0, is it popping out a dialog box crack or not? So because the time is too long, so I will change it to a little bit shorter, so I can easily to check the result for it. So I change the default minute. For example, default minute is 1 minute. I wait for 1 minute, and so default minute. So I will round out again, and then this time I hit the start and wait it to get down to 0. 55, 54, 53. We wait for 1 minute, and we can check it out to see that when its time is up, it should be pop out a dialog box to show time is up. So I wait for it, and so this last function that we should implement for our basic functions, when it gets to 0, it should be pop out a dialog box to show us the time is up. So I wait for it. If it is popped out correctly, now I finish all this basic function for our Pomodoro timer. So I waited 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It's pop up. Time is up. Okay, correct. Okay, and we hit it Remember, when a run method and we make it all the time, the total seconds, get back to the default. And timer status get back to 0. Right. That is for the basic functions for our Pomodoro timer. This is a simple procedure. Implement the procedure for this final project only for these basic functions. I gave you this guidance, and you can use it as your reference. And based on this simple project, you can design your own Pomodoro timer, including the basic functions. And when you finish the basic functions, you can try the advanced functions. And the advanced functions including the play music when the time's up. How to play music? Use your search engine to search in Java Swing desktop application how to play music. You search it and you will get the result. There's a lot of examples for it to play music if you want to play music when the time's up. And the second advanced function is customize a Pomodoro timer for different intervals. That is the default intervals. The default intervals is 25 minutes, 0 second, and you can change it. In our program, back to our lab beans, our default. I already defined two variables for the default minute and second, so you can implement the actual function to change it. The default minute and second, you can change it to different, for example, the 25 minute or 24 minute or 11 minute or 5 minute or 5 minutes, 30 seconds as you want. But you can design a method to change this value for this advanced functions if we want to implement it. And the third one is as the customizable breaker timer. That means just like I already show you a complex Pomodoro timer that I designed before that are as my full function Pomodoro timer. That we have a relax area that for the breaker. So the break time is 5 minutes each second, 0 second. So it's the same. If you want to implement it, it's the same as the Pomodoro timer, the focus time. It's the same. The difference is the time is different. The default time is different. All the other things are totally the same. So if you want to implement these functions, maybe you should design an interface to implement it, to add an area inside the interface for this break time, the relax time. Okay. And the next advanced functions is to add a digital clock to display current time. That is digital clock. If you want to add it, add the area for show the digital clock. How to implement digital clock we have already learned it in our class in the chapter 8 for concurrent programming. Remember, we have example for us to make a digital clock. You can use that code if you want to add this function into your final project. And the final one is for us is basic functions. Advanced function for us is to display the total number of the Pomodoro timer if you finish it. That the total number of Pomodoro timer. What the total number of the Pomodoro timer you finish it means. We have the Pomodoro timer. We can give the default time for Pomodoro timer, for example, 25 minutes as one Pomodoro. So one Pomodoro, 25 minutes. If you finish two Pomodoro, so you got 50 minutes focus time. That means the total number of a Pomodoro now is 2. And today, if you finish, for example, finish 4 of this Pomodoro timer, that is 4 Pomodoro timer, so you have 100 minutes of focus time. So your number of your Pomodoro timer is 4. So you should add a variable to record the total number of Pomodoro timer when you run your vacation. You have the value to get its total number of it, and you can display it on your interface in a proper way. For example, use a menu item, or you design a area inside your interface to add the area that the total number of Pomodoro timer. You finish it, add something, and display the total timer number of Pomodoro. So that is a final advanced function that will have five advanced functions. And as a requirement for your final project, we have the basic functions, the advanced functions, and the basic functions you must implement it. All the basic functions must be implemented, but advanced functions is depend on what you want to get for the final grade. If you want to get a higher grade for your final project, you should try to implement more of these advanced functions and try to make them better. So I will tell you how to do it, and you can try it if you want. But the basic functions, I will give you a simple project demonstration so you can continue work based on this reference. I will upload the reference project to the Dental folder so you can download it, and you can. So the first time you should to carefully to watch the whole procedure to make the project, and you should understand everything that we make for this final project for the final for the simple sample project, and then you can design your own Pomodoro timer. Remember, you have designed your own Pomodoro timer. You can't directly copy all this code from my project. That is not allowed. So you can use it as a reference to base your own Pomodoro timer. That's it. That's for the guidance for the project, final project. And remember, next week is our submit time for the final project. The deadline for the final project is the June 10th. So remember the deadline for the final project. So before the deadline, you have to implement your final project as your team, and you should follow the instructions in my document for submit all this materials, the guidance file. There's a document I already uploaded to the Dental folder. You can get it from the folders, and you can read it carefully to find out the actual procedure to how to pack all these things together to get a zip file, including all these materials, including source code, this executable code, and the demonstration videos, and pack them together and get a zip file. How to do it, you can read carefully inside the guidance, so submitting guidance in the document. And for the experiment, we have 4 experiments for each student, so you have to finish all of them and write 4 lab reports for them. So how to make this experiment, I already gave you some demonstration in our class for the first experiment to design a GUI application for making a money converter from the RMB to US dollars. No, but you can try more to make the different directions. That's okay, no problem. At that, it's a simple GUI design application for the first experiment. A second experiment is to make a digital clock, and this code it can get reference from our class for chapter 8, the concurrent program. And the third one is to the Java input-output stream. You should write 2 programs. One is read your input from keyboard, and that is string. You input string from keyboard and get it, and you store it into a file. And then the next code, the next program, read this file and extract the string from this file and display it on the text screen in the console. if you use NetBeans to directly print out to the output box. And some of guys asked me if it's allowed to use other kind of IDE, for example, the VS Code or NVIDIA IDEA or Eclipse. It's allowed. You can use the IDE you want. You can choose your favorite IDE. That's no problem. But I recommend use NetBeans because the design tool automatically generation functions for the design tool in NetBeans is the best among all these different IDE. So I strongly recommend it to use the NetBeans as the development tool. But if you use other tools, it's no problem. And the final experiment is for the applet. The applet, how to make this applet with the interactive operation. For example, you interact with the applet with the mouse or the keyboard, and this code actually can use the code that where I have already gave you in the class. That is we have an applet and we interact with it with mouse, and we press the left button of the mouse and get a string display on the location. We press the button and it displays the string at this location. We're gonna move this mouse around inside the location area, applet area, and we press the button and it will still display the string at this location. And this code is not too difficult, but the question is, when you try to implement this experiment, you have to prepare the environment for it. Remember, the first things I want to tell you that is the environment, the Java development kit for if you want to develop applet, you should have a lower version of it. So currently, the lower version for the Java development kit is 8. So you can find it on the official site or Oracle official site that it's Java 8 version. But the newer version, for example, 13 or 14, that is a newer version. So the old version you can find in the official site is only 8. But if you use a higher version of JDK, the applet cannot be supported in the higher version of JDK. So if you use the higher version of JDK, if you want to try to make the final experiment for the applet, it can't do this experiment. So I recommend to change back to a lower version for your JDK. So if you use a higher version of, so remove it firstly, and then download the Java 8 version and install it again, and use Java 8 as your JDK. And about NetBeans, the NetBeans actually the higher version of JDK. Now I remember the higher version of JDK is 11 maybe. The version 11 it supported the Java 8, but if you get some problems, if you use a higher, for example, your NetBeans IDE, you got this version as 11, but under JDK is 8, but you can't make experiment and make the applet run. So you try to make it down, make the version down to, for example, down to 0 or down to 9. But the lower version for it is only 9. And if you want to try to get the more lower version of NetBeans, you can't get it on this site. So on the official site, the lower version for NetBeans is 9. So I recommend all of you, because you have to finish the final the fourth experiment about applet. The JDK should be the lower version 8. And that means depends on the situation. If you can't implement all experiment correctly, try to make it down. Make the version down to the 11, down to 10, or down to 9. Okay, so that is for the final experiment, the fourth experiment. And all the experiment will have 4 experiments. When you finish all of them, and use this template to write our lab reports. And remember, the lab reports I have uh, 4 sections for all of you to fill them out. And the third section and the fourth section is for you, and it's very important to you have to write something into it. For example, the third section is for write your code. So some guys asked me if he passed all the code inside this section. My suggestion is you don't need to copy all the code into this section because code is too long for it. You only choose the important parts of your code. For example, a crucial code of it, and paste some of it to and give and to write some description for it. Remember, write some description for your code. Don't put only on code into a section. And the fourth section in the lab reports is about the summary of this experiment. So including, for example, the problems you got in during the whole experiment, about the debugging, about testing, or some of other things you got from this experiment. You should write something for them. That is for the third section. The fourth section is really important for the grade of your lab report. So I wish all of you to finish them uh, as best as you can. Okay. That's for the experiment, and for this final project guidance demonstration. That's for it, and thank you, all of you. And if you still have questions, please leave a message in WeChat group. Don't put it in DinTalk because I seldom to visit DinTalk to get information for it. So leave a message in the WeChat group, or send your question direct to me in WeChat so I can help you out as possible. Thank you, and that's for it. Thank you. Goodbye.